Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Got some news today. Not news I am happy about, so I'm gonna put you guys down and we're gonna go for a ride and we're gonna talk about this, because yeah. So put myself into quite the predicament yesterday. The classic car stereos radio I wanted to get for this truck, I bought for my other car, the 72 Oldsmobile convertible you guys saw in the last video. And everything went well. Put the speakers in, put the radio in, everything works exactly as it should. Definitely sold me on one for this truck. You know, that car, the radio is not really ever used in it, so I don't really know why I did that one first, but it sold me on it on this truck. I wanted a factory radio tile thing back in that car, so we got that. Now I need one in this truck. You know, one that maybe works a little bit better than this one does. So, put the radio in, everything works great. It's got Bluetooth and everything. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So then, I put the rear speakers in. We go to put the top down. And the top of the convertible, if you don't know, that car has a cross-beam frame for the convertible, which I was told by a buddy of mine who did convertible tops many, many years ago, that I should get rid of the car because of that cross-beam top. And boy, was he right. So, my grandfather has that car, and that top is broken multiple times in the past. 2 to 3 that he can remember. And now, yesterday, the rear window broke. Now, what could be a 4th or a 5th time in that car. So, obviously, price of everything has gone up in years prior. And come to find out, I just got off the phone with the upholstery people, and told them I wanted to do a new top for the car because it needs one, as well as a new rear glass. And I came out with the number from them of $3,195. Boy, was I wrong on how expensive that was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a $1,500 fix. Nope. $3,200, tax included. I was shocked. And now I'm in an interesting predicament on the fact of that car is now practically put away for the season because, you know, with the rear window broken, we don't store it indoors at like my house, and so therefore it sits in the driveway. And when it rains, you know, all that water is going to go right in the top. So yes, we drive it around with the convertible top down, obviously, but when it rains and it's sitting there, that top's got to be up. And so now I've kind of gotten myself into a little bit of a predicament because, you know, it's going to rain, and you know, that top's going to be up, but we're still going to get water inside, and I can't have that happening. And so what I want to do is we're going to end up having to replace the entire top, the back window. And with, you know, we're already replacing that stuff, we're also going to put in, you know, new motors and all that, because might as well try and prevent it from happening again. But yeah, it put me in quite the predicament when I realized how much it was going to be. So today we fixed an issue that this truck was having. On to some better news. Fixed an issue this truck was having, which was one of the running light cab lights on top was not installed correctly for some reason. Never had the issue with any of the other ones, but one of them was leaking. It happened to be the center one, and it was leaking down. So when it would rain and this truck was driven afterward, whoever was sitting in the middle, or if you happen to be shifting a gear and it leaked, your hand would get wet, or if somebody was sitting in the middle, which we have done before, you know, they would get, you know, some water hitting their leg or whatever. And so I wanted to get that fixed, and that's what I fixed today. And so also cleaned up some of the wiring. I did new shrink like fittings on all the wires. They weren't really that good before. I just wanted to clean them up a little bit. And so, inevitably, we did fix something today, but we broke something else yesterday. And so I'm not really happy about it because I didn't want to break that. But I was told how it wasn't really that big of a deal due to the fact that it's happened previous times. And I cannot believe that they came out and engineered something so stupid that would break like that, because the convertible top on a lot of them is straight beams that go straight back. This one's a cross section, so it's straight beams that cross in the middle. And I don't understand why they would do that. But nevertheless, it'll get fixed. We'll figure it out. But for this truck, I wanted to tell you guys some information that I have. We went out mowing the other day, mowed a bunch of stuff, and we loaded the back of this truck, filled to the brim of the bed with grass clippings out of the bagger of the mower. And this truck handled it with no big deal. Obviously, grass isn't that big of a deal for it. It's not that heavy, so, I mean, I didn't feel like it was going to mess with us. But between the grass clippings and towing the trailer, this truck was not liking life. It was really not liking me that day. And so we got about 120 miles from fill up to fill up. Not total, but 120 miles from the last time I filled it up to this time that I filled it up. And averaged about 13. So about 30 to 40 of those miles were loaded. Probably closer to 30 of those miles were loaded up with grass in the trailer. And so I'm expecting towing, us getting around 8, and unladen getting between 18 and 20, if not even better than that, because, I mean, this truck does do really good unladen, just cruising around the city. Obviously, the highway is a little bit of a struggle for it, or, you know, main thoroughfares where you're doing, you know, 60, 70 miles an hour. Just because the truck doesn't quite have the gearing for that. But for city driving about under 50, 60 miles an hour, the truck is very, very comfortable, you know, does what it needs to do, everything like that. So, honestly, I think that it's doing really, really, really well. It's hot out here. And so then, not 3 days later, had a landscaping job, and we did retaining wall blocks, and we had a pallet of retaining wall blocks in the back of this truck. It wasn't a full pallet, it was the leftovers of another pallet, somewhere in the range of like 150 or something blocks on this skid. And this truck squatted practically to the ground, but it handled it very, very, very well. Yes, it squatted a lot, but driving it didn't seem to lack power. It definitely was working a little bit harder, but it didn't seem to lack power, nor did it seem to struggle with braking. Obviously, any loaded vehicle, you're going to have a slight difference in braking and getting going, but when we hit the gas pedal, when we stepped on the brake pedal, it did exactly what it was supposed to do, and I am very, very, very proud of this truck for that. Still a couple things I want to address on this truck. The headlights are one of them. The temperature gauge not working is another one. The radio system is another one. The doors, the interior of the passenger door needs to be redone, and the painting on both door panels needs to be redone because it didn't come out very good, just because, you know, the paint just started peeling off and everything. So that type of stuff needs to be redone, but that's all the little stuff that I'm not too worried about. For the big stuff, you know, the truck obviously needs some body work and some paint. And then the truck needs a full new interior, which is a headliner, A-pillar, you know, the plastic A-pillar trim, you know, carpet and insulation, new seat. I want to do carpet on the back wall. I want to do carpet maybe on the bottom of the doors, but I'm not 100% sure on that one yet. And most importantly is definitely going to be that headliner and the insulation. Those are the two that I really want to do. And I want to do the interior all black besides the dash, which I want to keep red. This truck really does have a good amount of get up and go. Never, while we were driving it, did we have an issue of a Challenger's pulled around that corner. It scared me. Have we had an issue of the truck not having enough power to, you know, get itself out of its own way? Never had an issue with that aspect of it. Always, you know, made sure that we had enough. The truck always had enough. So, honestly, you guys, I am really, really happy with the way this truck is coming out. The only thing I wish it had was AC, but that may be coming, depending on what I end up doing between the dump truck thought and all that. There's a possibility this truck might get the aftermarket AC units that they sell for them and install that in here. Just because it'll make it a little bit more of a comfortable daily and a comfortable work truck. Now, obviously, you know, there's still work that this truck needs, and I'm going to walk you around it and show you some of the things that I want to do now. So, body work is a must. Really is. Headlights got to be fixed. They're both fucked up. Body work is a must again. I'm thinking about replacing both vent window assemblies, and then I want to do all new seals throughout the entire truck. I want to move this. I want to paint the door. I want to get the door handles black, I think. Obviously, maybe get some better mirrors for this thing. Now, bed come along. As you guys can see, there was some wood in this stuff in the back, and there's a bunch of tools back here. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to do stakes that come up to about the top of the cab, about yay high, wooden planks on the side, a tarp that mounts to the back, and a dump bed unloader in here. It hooks around the tailgate if you guys have ever seen it. And it's like a tarp that you roll up and it pulls everything right out of it, and more or less have a $250 dump truck instead of, you know, however much an actual dump truck is going to be. So I think that's what we might go with. Now, obviously the truck still needs work. I want to get new rear springs for it, as well as some new front end components. And, you know, it still needs rockers, doesn't need cab corners, but we're going to do them anyway. I finally found a rust hole in the floorboard, and I didn't see it before, but it's right there. The rest of the floorboards are absolutely perfect. You know, but I want to do insulation, so we're going to sand the whole floor down, paint the floor, insulation, carpet. You know, I want to do all that. Obviously, you know, fix the shifter boot, fix, you know, down there, fix the speaker wire that hangs down, fix all the little things. I think I'm gonna end up buying a new assembly for this, just to get like the new shiny chrome in here. You know, a couple new gauges. I'm thinking about moving the fuel gauge to a small one and putting in a tack RPM gauge. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on that. It's either gonna be a tack with a fuel here or a clock here and leave the fuel up here. Me personally, I don't really care about having a tack. I know when this truck likes to be shifted. So, and with only having 3 gears, it's not that big of a deal, but I would like to know how hard the truck is working. I also got to get a new temp gauge because this one's weirded out. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's never told the temperature. And my buddy said that he fixed the wire underneath the hood, so I got to look at that. I want to get possibly AC. Obviously, we're going to get the new radio, the classic car stereos radio. This dash thingy needs to get fixed because it's not really on there. And yeah, you know, I would love to get a telescopic steering wheel, but they're expensive, or steering column, but they're expensive, and I don't see a point to it. And so, you know, everything is really, and then obviously the seat's got to get reupholstered. Not on that side because of it, but on this side, with the rips and the tears and everything, it's not a massive deal. I don't really care. I just want it black. I don't want it red. And then I want to put a carpet here in the back, as well as, you know, do the installation all the way back to here, and then put carpet. That's the driver's side mirror that was never installed, and then new black seat belts is kind of what I would like to do. So that's pretty much everything that I've got, as well as black visors. You guys can see this little sketch because it got painted, and then you know, as you guys can see, the new, you know, wiring for the things, and then the headliner is going to go right over this, so you're not going to see any of that wiring. But yeah, the truck has come a really far distance ever since we got it. And yeah, big thing for me right now is doing all new seals throughout the truck. You know, new seals around the floor, vents on both sides, new seals around both doors, new seals in all the windows, as well as the vent window assemblies, and new seal along the rear window and the windshield. I want to make sure that this truck is air tight when all the windows are closed, and, you know, no water's getting in here. That's a big thing for me. You know, and then everything else can kind of come after that. Once the truck is sealed off and the interior stays, you know, there's not water dripping in, then I'll do new carpet and all that. I know obviously it's never going to be perfect. It might leak every so often. It's going to get wet just because of those vents on the bottom. But I really would like to do my best to get this truck to not leak constantly when it rains. It used to leak from right there, kind of the jank joint. It also leaks when these are closed right through there in that general area, as well as the same thing over there. And it leaks a little bit in the top of the windows on both sides. Not as much on this side because of this, but on that side it leaks a lot through the top of the window. This side does leak though still. As you guys can see, my dog had a little bit of a field day on this side thing. But yeah, and then we're gonna get the new door, the new window handles, new door handles, new armrest, new lock things. This is just like little stuff that we're gonna do. I'm thinking about just buying new black door panels, and then they sell like the little chrome strip that goes down it, and then the carpet on the bottom. A lot of things I'd like to do to this truck all requires money, and sadly I don't have enough to fund everything I'd like to do right now, so one step at a time. So I appreciate all y'all for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe. Tune into the next video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.